Hi all ignorants, hope all are doing extremely great. So this is the second video of unit 6 perception. We already uploaded the first part of this unit. In that video we discussed what you mean by perception, steps involved in the perceptual process, what are the factors that can distort your perception, etc. So in this video we are going to discuss what do you mean by theory of attribution and how the perception of a manager is helpful in maintaining the organizational effectiveness and how you can enrich your perceptual skills. So these all things we are going to discuss in a detailed manner. Before getting into the video, if you feel that the contents we are providing through these videos are helpful, please like, share and subscribe the channel. Your likes and subscriptions as well as the share will act as a motivator for us for making more videos in future. Okay, so without further delay, let's get started. Let's start with theory of attribution. So what do you mean by attribution? When people give cause and effect explanation to the observed behavior, it is called attribution. Whenever we are confronting an incident or an event, we always try to find out how it happened, why it happened, what are the factors that lead to that incident. Okay, so we always try to find a cause and effect explanation to that observed behavior. So the attribution theory explains that when the individual observes the behavior, we used to find whether it is internally or externally caused. So internally caused behavior means those behavior can be controlled by the person. Okay, but externally caused behavior means that is not under that person's control, but it happened. Okay, so he has nothing to do with that. Let's discuss with an example. A nurse who drops a tray of medicine. Okay, if you are taking that incident that due to her clumsiness the tray fell down, okay, you consider the internally caused behavior lead to that incident. Okay, but you are taking that incident in another perspective, that is due to the slippery floor the tray fell down. Okay, so she has nothing to do with that. It's an externally caused behavior lead to that incident. Okay, so these two are internal and external factors that lead to the fell down of that tray, right? So the Kelly's theory of causal attribution, it explains that while we are determining others' behavior through internally or external causes, we have to focus on three type of information. Okay, so it can give you a clear picture. First is distinctiveness, second one is consensus, and the third one is consistency. Okay, the next slide we will discuss these three factors in a detailed manner. Okay, so first one is distinctiveness. So what do you mean by distinctiveness? The extent to which a person behave in the same manner in other context. A person who is happy with his friends is happy with the strangers, and he can get along with the strangers, and he can get along with the friends, both are in the same manner, so that means his distinctiveness is low. Okay, sometimes certain type of people, they are okay only with their friends or person who is known to them. Okay, but they are so uncomfortable with the strangers. Okay, so that means their distinctiveness is high. Okay, if a particular behavior is unusual, that means a person who is jovial with the stranger as well as the friends, but in one or two circumstances he seems to be tensed or uncomfortable, so at that time we can say that due to the external factors he behave like that. Okay, so if the action is not unusual, it will be perhaps judged as internal. Like I told, that is, if a person who is uncomfortable with the strangers and comfortable only with his friends, okay, so it is not an unusual one, his trend is like that. Okay, so it is an internal factor, his nature is like that. Second one, consensus. So consensus means the extent to which you are get along with the people who are your people with you are interacting with, right? So for example, you are going to a party, so it's a party is a high spirited one, so you are also go with the flow, okay? So that means your consensus is high, but you don't get along with the crowd, you just take a drink and then sat there and enjoy all the events, okay? That means your consensus is low, okay? So whatever things are happening around you, you are not bothered about it, you are reclusive, okay? You don't want to get along with the crowd, so that is consensus. Then consistency. The consistency means the tendency to remain same over time. That means your nature is like that, you are jovial, you are happy, you are ready to get along with friends, strangers, etc. So whatever situation it is, whatever circumstances, you will remain the same. That means you are highly consistent in your behavior, right? So that is also an internal factor. Certain people are not like that, that is certain people mood varies due to, they may believe their hormones for the same, okay? So that is, we used to say their behavior is not consistent, don't get into that zone, okay? He or she is not in a good mood, okay? We used to hear like that, right? So these are the factors. Then next, another error is fundamental attribution error. So that means whenever we are making judgment about the behavior of other people, we used to underestimate the influence of external factors and overestimate the influence of internal factors. We discussed one example of nurse, that is the tray fell down, we can consider it as two way, that is due to clumsiness or due to the slippery floor, okay? But we have a tendency to consider it as due to her clumsiness that incident happened, okay? So that means we are focusing, or you are overestimating the internal factors than the external factors. So that is known as fundamental attribution error. Next is self-serving basis, that is tendency of the individual to attribute their success to their personal factors or internal factors like their ability or like their hard work, etc. But if something goes wrong, they will blame on others or the external factors. For example, you got 100 out of 100, then you will give the credit to yourself, that is I worked hard, I burnt lots of midnight oil, so that only I got this mark, right? But if you got 40, then you will say that the question paper is tough, the teacher didn't cover the entire topic, and the questions are very tricky, so you are not ready to take the blame on yourself. So that on a self-serving basis. So these are the important errors happening in the perception process, right? The principle of perceptual defense. The individual is likely to put a defense when confronted with some conflicting, unexpected or threatening stimuli, okay? So that is when certain situation happen or certain circumstances that question your current notion about a particular thing, we will put a defense, okay? So we can put a defense. For example, someone is saying that the factory workers are intelligent. As per our current notion, that is factory workers are not as intelligent as engineers or engineers who are coming from IITs, okay? So we will deny that statement. I don't believe so. Some people say, some person can take the perspective that okay, I believe that okay, they may be intelligent, but they don't have that drive to rise up, okay? Some people think that okay, maybe I failed in making a perception about intelligence, okay? So I judge the people only on the basis of the scores, so that makes a difference, okay? Some people consider that okay, I have to rethink about the intelligence, so I have to rethink what are the factors that can determine the intelligence of a person, okay? So these are the different ways through which we can make a perceptual defense, right? So that is perceptual defense, right? Next, what are the managerial uses of perception? Why? By studying the perception or perception process, what impact it can provide to the managers. Okay, so the managers are those who are attending a employment interview. They are appraising their subordinates performance. They are assessing the level of efforts of the subordinates, the loyalty of their subordinates to the organization. It will be helpful for them in building relationship. That is, we already discussed about halo effect, stereotyping, projecting and all. These all are the errors due to the perceptual distortion. Okay, so any of these errors happen, it will affect the judgment of the managers. So it will it will disturb the organizational effect, organizational culture as well as the climate. Okay, for example, a manager who is always believe that a particular community can contribute well to the organization success and others can't, that means he is a stereotype one. Okay, so that person, that manager is disturbing the organization climate. The people will feel demotivated. That is, oh, whatever we are doing or whatever good things we have done, he will not consider us for a good performance. Okay, he will consider only a group of people for uh, awards or recognition, right? So that is, if a manager is well aware of these perception and perceptual disorders, then he can make a good judgment, right? So it will be helpful for the organization, particularly in these areas. So now we are going to discuss about how to develop the perceptual skill. We already discussed that the perceptual skills are very much needed for the managers, because they have to manage a team. Okay, manage an organization. They have to interact with different people coming from different walks of life. Okay, so they have to coordinate all these people together so that they can achieve the organization goals. Okay, so the first step is giving feedback and receiving feedback. So the subordinate has to receive the feedback and the manager has to give the feedback. So if the interaction between these two people are not not in a sound manner, then that interactions will not be a fruitful one, right? So for making an effective feedback and receiving feedback, or for making an effective transaction, so the interactions between two people in an organization, we used to call it as transactions or interpersonal interactions, right? So the for making an interpersonal interaction fruitful, there is a popular framework that was proposed by Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham in 1955, and that is known as Johari window, right? So this window is a technique that helps people to understand their relationship with themselves and others. It is an it will tell about how you know about yourself as well as how you know about others. Okay, so when we are looking into that diagram, it has four quadrant, right? The four quadrant, the first quadrant is open self, then second is blind self, third is hidden or private self, and the last one is unknown self, right? So the first quadrant explained that you are aware about yourself as well as the other person to whom we are interacting. Okay, so the when we are aware about ourselves, it will be helpful for to we have a knowledge of ourselves, and then you have a knowledge of other person, then you can make a fruitful conversation, right? Next one, that is blind self. So it reflects behavior, feeling and motivation known to other parties but not to self. That is, other parties are aware about your behavior, your feelings, etc., but you are not aware of that. Okay, so in this form of interaction, individuals know about others but not about himself. So the individual irritates others unintentionally, so the other person know that okay, in which mood this person is there. Okay, but that person who is making the irritating stuff is not aware about his mood, so that is known as blind self. Then the third one is hidden self. So that implies that it's a private one, that is only the person concerned knows what's happening. This hidden self is within the vision of the individual, but he does not want to share it with others. We all have that hidden self. Okay, we don't want to share some intimate things about ourselves with others. We don't want to. Okay, so that is known as hidden self. Okay, so we learn to hide many feelings and ideas right from the childhood. It's a default right one. Then unknown self, the last one is unknown self. It refers to those aspects of an individual that neither the individual nor the people know about him. Okay, so the neither the people nor the individual not about the know about these things. So the unknown self is a mysterious one. So many times the motivations, feelings go very deep, and no one, including the person concerned, is aware about any of these things. So it will not be helpful for making a good conversation. Okay, so these four quadrants, that is open self, blind self, hidden self, and the undiscovered or unknown self, do not remain rigid. Okay, we can make adjustment through the interpersonal process of disclosure and feedback. Okay, so the hidden self, for example, the hidden self, that means hidden one, we are not supposed, we are not ready to expose it, so it can be reduced, and of open self increased through disclosure process. We can use of candid self disclosure. So Johari window is a dynamic and sensitive to the interpersonal interactions of disclosure and feedback. Okay, it assumes that an open self becomes larger, and interpersonal relationship tends to be more rewarding and productive. That means according to this Johari window, it is more important to be in the open self. So you are aware about yourself and you are aware about the other person with whom you are interacting, then it can be more productive. That is very important for an organization communication, right? Okay, we discussed about blind self, unknown self. So receiving feedback from others can reduce the blind self. So people is telling you are so short tempered. If I am not aware about my that nature. So someone is telling that you don't make that, you have to reduce your temper tantrums. So it's not good. You have to, your temperament is not so good. So you are getting the feedback from others and you are ready to accept it, so that blind self can be reduced. Then giving feedback and information about self to others, that can reduce the unknown self. So if I am giving certain information about myself to others, so then we can reduce the unknown self. The other person can help you out. Okay, so these things you can avoid to make better. So if a person is so introvert and he is not ready to interact with much people, so he know that okay, he has some hesitancy, so why it's happening he is unaware. So when he is making a conversation with some of his close friends and telling him, okay, these are the difficulties I face while I'm making a conversation, so the others can put their inputs. So when we are ready to take that inputs from them, then you can convert your unknown self to open self, right? Next, this model says that the four quadrants do not remain rigid. The person are ready to make improvement, it can be improved. Okay, so next is having empathy. Empathy means you are thinking from others shoe, that is you are putting yourself in others shoe and then you are making a perspective, so that is empathy. Next is having positive attitude. Positive attitude means whenever you are having a some incident happen, you have a positive mindset. Okay, you will try to take the positive aspects of that situation and you will try to reduce the negative aspects. So that is having a positive attitude to life is very important. Next is enhancing self concept. Enhancing self concept and self esteem help one to treat others with respect and with right person. If you are aware of yourself and you know how to manage yourself, you have an awareness about yourself. And the last one, avoiding common biases. Okay, so a conscious effort should be done so that you can get rid of these common biases, and it will be helpful for getting rid of distorted perceptions, right? So the next is correct use of attribution and communication. So we already discussed about attribution, that means and circumstances arises, we used to find a cause and effect, and we always overestimate the internal factors and underestimate the external factors. So whenever you are confronting a situation, you have to clearly understand uh, what is the reason behind that particular incident, what persuade a particular individual to do that. Okay, whether internal factors or external factors. Then once you are getting a clear picture of it, then only you will go to make a perception. Okay, so that is the correct use of attribution. Communication means that is open self communication. That is, when we are interacting, you should be aware of yourself, as well as you should try to be aware of the other person with whom you are going to interact with, right? So that's all for this video. So we finished unit 6 perception, and we will come with another videos of HR management. And before winding up, let's go through this quote. Happiness is the inner perception of calmness, tranquility, and joy. We all are in a pursuit of happiness. I hope and believe, as well as I wish, all of you a happy and a joyful life. So if you feel that the contents we are providing through this channel are helpful, please like, share and subscribe the channel, and please share these videos among your friends, so it will be helpful for our IGNOU community. So we will meet again with another video. Till then, take care, have a safe day. Thank you.